Alright guys, so Christian dropped the bag
What's up,
and
mofos?
hey, this motherfucker dropped the bag and had us live on his Facebook instead of the group. And I want to let him know that he sucked.
Bro,
You suck.
I have my family members in there, my cousin's wife, our co-workers. I was like, holy shit, time to perform. All right, so now we already did the discussion, so we kind of know what we're talking about, so we can just focus it
Yeah, we
until
can focus it and concise it and get it to you guys
yeah.
in a digestible way. But so we're gonna be talking about Black Rukh. Not well, we're gonna be talking about Black Rukh. And to talk about Black Rukh, we're gonna have to talk about what Rukh is. And where we got it from. So it's a show called Magi. It's an anime.
Mm-hmm.
And in the show, the protagonist's name is Aladdin, and he has a whole bunch of like positive energy, like positive energy. So Rook is essentially like the flow of life, the way that fate is going, the cycle of life, and
It's the will of God, essentially. It's fate and the flow of life. So essentially, like all life forms, they live, and when they die, they go back into the energy source.
Mhm.
And this show is called Rook. In real life, it's just energy.
That's what Rook is, and like some people really have a high command of it. I would say a person with a lot of like just Rook in general is Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins. You go to those seminars that this guy puts on, and you can't deny you don't feel that energy. I don't care who you are. You feel that energy. I cut on Tony Robbins' book. I talk a lot of trash about Tony Robbins. I cut on Tony Robbins' book, and I'm just like, man, this is a really good book, filling me up with all this energy. That's the perks of being, good with Rook. Like you are providing energy to people.
His life force, essentially, what you could say is like he's changing other people's fates to be better.
Mhm.
Like his positive energy is infecting other people and is building on positive energy, and
It's just
everyone
growing.
everyone is just better overall by having met this person and interacting with this person. Now let's talk
If I
about
could,
on the opposite spectrum, right? So like in the show, there's the regular Rook, which is this life force, and then there's the Black Rook, which is what we're going to be talking about in this
yeah, I would
discussion.
say Black Rook on the other side is the other side. Where
Yeah,
you are just full of all this hopelessness, anger, sorrow, um,
negative feelings,
negative
negative
feelings.
emotions. Basically, because of the circumstances of your life, whether it be stuff that you can't control or can control, you get this negative feeling about your fate. Essentially, like you start to hate your existence and the existence of others because you feel like your circumstances are not fair. Like things
Mhm.
aren't going your way, or maybe you were born with less than others, stuff like that. It leads you to having what is called Black Rook, which is
Negative
just the
energy.
negative version of life force. Like you basically want others to come on this destructive path with you.
Some people, like they talk about the devil, like almost like he wants to bring you with him.
Mm-hmm.
Some people don't. They have Black Rook and they only care about themselves.
Yeah.
So it goes in that way as well. So if you think about Black Rook, I think the people who do like self deletion, school shootings,
Mm-hmm.
um, or any type of shooting,
Yeah.
um,
Mass shootings.
mass shootings and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
they're all with this type of energy, dude. And the crazy thing about once this energy gets a hold of you, it just like slowly like climbs up one arm all the way over here, and all of know like, bro, your life is just shit. Like you may have had like a decent life, but you continue to just let it keep eating and eating and eating and eating, and then like all of a sudden, like you actually had a chance, and now like you almost destroy any chance of a good like life.
And there's
So
certain degrees of it as well. Like you don't really necessarily have to get to the point of self deletion to be considered a Black Root person. it could be it can manifest in other ways. So for example, I'm going to give the example of one of our friends, right? So one of our friends, when I got introduced to him, he was a very positive person. He was very optimistic about life, but because of his decisions, he decided to go into a field that breeds a lot of negativity, essentially for money, right? So then, during the process of him being in this new field, he got taken advantage of, and he started breeding a lot of resentment and paranoia, to the point where one time we went to his apartment to go talk to him, and he had like a knife in his hand, right? Like he was so paranoid, he thought people were out to get him. That negativity led to him making certain choices that, like, later on, he, I think, in my eyes, he regrets and
Mhm.
is not getting over. So like, so then years later,
Still hitting you.
when we finally meet up after like a couple years, you can notice that that negativity is still there with him, because he hasn't accepted the consequences of his choices. He's still dealing with those demons years later. So that's the danger of falling into this Black Rukh mentality. We call it, the show calls it falling into depravity.
Mhm.
Uh, you could get stuck in it for years.
Like it should be your main goal to get out of that negative energy or the black root. It's because the choices that you make when you're in it leads to even more black root. And when you're in that negative energy, you get choices in life. It's just a whole bunch of choices, and you start making black root choices over and over and over and over and over again. At a point, you could be under the sea of black root. Now like regardless of where you're at, you still got to climb out of that sea to be able to actually enjoy life or like be able to enjoy friendships and whatnot. Because the thing is that people don't like to be around black root, dude. They don't like to be around individuals with that because it spreads like a virus. And one thing I can say for people that's in this group is be very wary of the content creators that you watch. Are they filling you with black root?
Hmm.
And essentially, is that going to allow you to make good choices? And if it's not allowing you to make good choices, dude, you got to do something different, man.
So like one of the ideas of this group kind of philosophy or principle is the idea of accepting fate, right? So in the show, they kind of tell you that the people who get filled with this Black Rook are people who don't accept fate. And at first, I was kind of resistant to the idea and kind of confused, because I was like, why would you accept, your fate? But essentially, what the show's trying to say is like the events that you can't control, and the choices that you make and the consequences of those choices must be accepted, because if you don't, you just hold resentment. Like the events that have already happened are already written in the book of fate. Essentially, you can't go back and change them. They're already there, and they will be there in the story of your life until the end. So there's no point in holding resentment. You have to meet those consequences or events head on, accept them, and move forward.
So there's a really good quote from Naruto. One of my favorite guys in the Naruto space is Itachi Uchiha. And in this quote, he tells his partner Kisame,
Mhm.
just doing whatever he wants and stuff. He's got no caution to him, and he turns around and he tells him, it's like you don't know who you are until the seconds before death. And what that means is that no matter what you do in life, you always have an opportunity to change uh, the trajectory of your life. So
Mhm.
that means you could essentially be filled with black root your whole life, and then the last 10 years of life, you decide, this is not the impact that I want to leave on this earth, and I'm going to leave a positive impact, and you can do that. it's going to be a complete journey to if you are somebody who has fallen into depravity or the Black Rukh. It's going to take a lot of work for you to get back on the other side. But it starts with making the right choices, small right choices every day. So at the end of the day, you know, it's a long path ahead for everybody. The Black Rukh is there, and like stop watching content creators that make you feel like you're filled up with this negative energy. Where you feel like your life is over, and they just talk about the same shit over and over, bro. Like, yo, it's over, dude. Move forward. Like, once you get that positive energy going, you like it just like flows. Like it just literally flows from you. It's fucking amazing. Like, all the positive shit starts happening because you got this positive energy. And I know at first you're gonna laugh and joke and say, "Well, this ain't for me" or whatever. But you got to do it. You got to get some of that energy in it. Like, I could if I could see Thomas doing this, like, he'd be like, "Why would I do this?" Because it's just something you got to do because you have let the way you see things get so bad, and that little 5 minutes a day of listening to something will shoot out of you and allow you to do way more, other things.
Don't be so quick to accept negative sentiments about yourself. Be careful what you accept about yourself. Don't allow people to just say negative things about you and just accept them as fact. Like,
I think you should not accept negative energy into your life. You should not accept it because the outcomes that come from it are not good. If you could take anything from that, anything from this whole like live is do not accept negative energy in your life. Someone has negative energy, you need to go ahead and distance yourself. I don't give a damn if it's your mom, your brother, your sister, your grandma, whatever. My family members tell you that. Mercy don't play that shit.
just because they say that you have certain faults doesn't make it true. Like, really examine yourself and think about what this person is saying. Don't just accept it as reality. And if they are true, don't accept that it's going to be a negative for the rest of your life. Take proactive steps to improve in that aspect of your life.